Hello Fretwellers and welcome back to MrMFretwell Plays Minecraft, and we're here again today in the cave spider farm area, and we're going to be working on what I talked about last episode, and that is the sort of item collection, filter, and so forth. So I've got all the supplies together that we should need in order to do this. I cleaned up inside this room, as you can see off camera. Looks very pretty now. Nice and dark. I like the ambient look. Mobs can't spawn in there though because I slabbed everything off to make it look neat. And I've started to get rid of some of the junk around here. I put in a little piston door, and this just gives us access to the wiring for this part. That goes up to the lighting for the other cave spider spawner. So things are still a little bit of a mess around here. I did get an enchantment table down. I don't have enough leather to complete the 15 bookshelves, but that's just going to be a kind of as and when thing. And when that happens, we'll have a enchantment table here. I've used this trap a little bit, and I've moved these, and I'll explain that in a minute here. And I've got plenty of string. This is probably from about one AFK session. Really, maybe 30 to 45 minutes using the looting trick. Lots of spider eyes. I brought potion ingredients with me to start making damage potions. I have plenty of everything that I need in terms of making the damage potions. If you're unaware, by the way, damage potions need glass bottles, which I have a little mini desert up there I can farm sand from, so it's not a big deal. Fermented spider eyes, which are made from spider eyes. Well, I have a spider eye farm. Sugar, you can farm sugarcane. And brown mushrooms, and you can farm those as well. I actually have some mycelium, so I could really easily farm them, which is what I did back at the lab. And netherwort. And netherwort, I have a netherwort farm now, and that's another growable item. So everything that you need to make these potions is growable. What you do is you suffocate the spiders down to one punch kill, and you just toss a potion at them. And I find that if you toss it here, then it will kill both sets of spiders and only use one potion. So it's very convenient in that way, which is great. That's exactly what we need. Collect the loot and stuff like that. I got a lot of experience from this farm. My new experience situation is going to be over here. So we are definitely going to start and have more and more stuff over in this half of the world here. So there's going to be a couple of other things go over here, and we'll probably talk about that as I'm working on the redstone for the item collection, stuff like that here today. And I mentioned briefly in the last episode that I'm going to probably build a rail line between the two bases. That's almost certainly going to become true now, simply because of the plans that I have for this half of the lab, I guess. This is not so much the actual lab, it's more kind of like a big resource collection area, because if you think about it, everything here that I'm going to build has something to do with resource collection. String, spider eyes, hardened clay, sand, and a couple of other things which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So kind of a lot of the resourcey collection stuff is going to be over in this half. But I'll explain that. Let's get on with the episode now. Enough talking. So we're going to build over here and across to here an item collector. So all the loot that we get when we kill the spiders, currently I have to pick up by hand and drop in a chest. I don't really want to do that. I want to try and simplify the process a little bit. And in order to do that, we are going to use hoppers and minecarts and stuff like that to pick up the loot. And this is one important thing. I want to mention this actually. For any of you out there that want to start getting into redstone a bit more, say you've been inspired by this series or by someone else's because I've been working on redstone, or you've seen someone else do it, or so forth. One thing I find particularly useful to do before you start actually putting any redstone down is actually just to think to yourself, write it down, say it out loud, say it to another person, whatever, what it is you actually want to do. So for me in this situation, if I was to say it out loud, for example for this video, I want a system that will pick up the string and the spider eyes from this trap, put it in a chest for me over here in a convenient location, and sort out the string from the spider eyes. That is what I want to do. Now that you've got that out of the way, you know pretty much what you want to do, so you don't get confused in what you're actually wanting to do, if that makes sense. So now that we've got that out of the way, we know exactly what we want to do. It makes it much easier to actually work towards that. So we're going to kind of build this backwards a little bit, because we're going to start over here rather than over here, because of trying to mangle it all in with the other redstone. So it's going to be quite tricky, actually, to get it all in and done, but I believe it's possible. It's not the hardest thing in the world. It's just a very simple, nice convenience tweak, so I can get rid of these holes in the ground, and everything will kind of be put away for me automatically, which is a very useful thing, particularly when I'm dealing with lots of drops. And because I'm getting so much experience out of this, I lag for quite a while I pick all of that up. I don't want to lose any of the item drops, so that's really important. So the first thing I guess we need to do is probably start over here, and this is where the chests used to be. I moved them over here just for convenience so that we can work in this area. And let me see, I need some cobblestone first. We're going to start and take up some of this out of the floor, because I want to conserve on stone bricks. I don't have too many of them. So the floor is now going to be on this level, and there's going to be a chest inset 1 block. So how do we want to do this then? I guess we could take these out, and we're going to put that there. There's going to be probably a backwards facing stair, something like that, and it's going to be inset 1. So let's get some chests. And by the way, this is going to be one of those episodes where I spend a great deal of time figuring out what I need to do. I've got a rough idea, but it's more of an experimentation and figuring out type episode. So if you're interested in watching me figure this out, then this is definitely the episode for you. So that one hypothetically is going to be string, and this one is going to be spider eyes. I can pretty it up later. So now that we've got that, we're going to have it inset 1 for a reason, and I'll explain that in a moment. That's mainly to hide the hoppers and stuff like that. So it's going to look a bit like that. And I mean, I could break this and have like a, you know, a stair or a slab, or even just a direct way to this, but we're not going to do that, as we can easily access all of this stuff when we probably have some item frames above. For right now though, we're going to knock these out. So the first thing that we want to do to this is actually make a buffer. And that, what is a buffer when we're talking about redstone? Well, a buffer is more than 1 double chest, essentially, because 1 double chest is great, but we could definitely do with more. And I'm also going to have to start hacking a little bit away at this area, so I'm going to have to be careful. So we're going to need some hoppers for that, and because this is going to be hidden, we're going to put a hopper here, and we're going to knock this little bit out. We're also going to put a hopper there, and we're going to put a double chest. I think that's going to, yeah, it's going to go in there, but that's fine. Oops. And we're going to, have to knock this out a little bit, so that we can shift click here. We're going to put chests over here, and the same thing on this side. We obviously can't put them directly next to each other, so we have to do a system like this. Now there is 2 double chests, and we're going to put another hopper there, and another hopper there, and now we're going to up it to 3 double chests. Gosh, there's so much cobble in this area, and we're probably going to have a lot of the glitches and stuff like that today because of how we're working. And you can kind of put this in any way you like, really. One thing actually we could do to try and compact a little bit here is, now that we've got it up here, we could do something a little bit like that. And yeah, you could still open the chest like that. Still open the chest like that too, so we can kind of compact it down a little bit. That's one thing that we really need to spend some time actually working on, is the compacting of it. So now you can see we're kind of stacking chests on top of each other, a bit like that. I'm going to need more chests, but that's fine, that's why I made them. So what are we up to here now then? We've got 1, 2, 3, and obviously for the other one it's the same. So I want 4 double chests, that's what we had before. So we could do something a little bit like this, and there's a reason I'm doing it that way, and that's going to help with the filter that we're going to build in a moment. Oh good, this is actually going to break out into an actual area where I can work in. There's a mine shaft over there that I can clear out apparently. So where did I put the hopper on this chest? I guess right there will do. So now we have a nice big buffer for our string and spider eyes. And when it gets full, I mean, I could set up a system that probably gets rid of stuff and things like that when it gets full. And I may still do that, but I'll probably do that off camera if I do. It's not the most important thing to do. And, I mean, I could just empty it out. And I think the way that this system is designed is it will just simply just not pick it up eventually. It will just despawn. And because of the way items clump in the game now, it won't cause too much lag, thankfully. So, now that we've got our two chests kind of organized here, this is going to be where our filter's going to be. We're going to need to make some room for the filter. And this filter, I'm going to link the video in the description that I saw it. We're going to make a couple of slight tweaks to make it fit our situation. And the guy in that video didn't say it was his originally, but it's the best filter I've found. I've never built one of these before, so I didn't really know what I was doing, so to speak. So I felt that probably the best way forward was to just kind of get a little bit of advice there from a video. Oops. And shifting does not work on chests, so we're going to have a little bit of falling down too. And this may be a bit more complicated than it has to be, but even so, it's not, you know, ridiculously expensive or anything. So we don't want it like that, actually, and that's going to go all the way down to the bottom of our buffer. Little hopper there. We need to make sure that the placement of the hoppers is right, because that's very important. So this is where the minecart is going to come in. We're not going to put hoppers all the way between the two, because that is ridiculously expensive. So we're just going to focus on actually using hoppers as least as possible. So now that we've got this in place, the items are going to come out of the minecart here, and they're going to flow down this line. This one's going to be string, this one's going to be spider eyes. And if you're familiar with item sorters at all, then you'll know that I'm going to set up one of these systems where items are in certain hoppers, and when one more item goes into that, it lets it pass us through. There's like, it holds so many in there, which is the filter, and that's going to be in this hopper right here. So, if I remember correctly now, I may have to review the video here just to make sure that I'm getting this right. I'm going to need some room to work with actually as well. Let's get some cobblestone down. I could take these away. We want to make sure that the hopper, this one, is locked. And we're going to put so many items in there, which will sort of act as a little mini buffer, I guess you could say. And when one more item goes into that hopper from this, then it should work. It's a bit strange. Essentially, when one more item goes into the hopper, it passes through. I think it's like 18, something like that. You need 18 items in there, and when a 19th item goes in, it lets that one pass through. So it's a good thing we do have a decent amount of string to begin with, so that we can kind of figure that one out as we go along. So this one is just simply the transferal one, and we're going to get some stone bricks out here. So if I recall, we need a redstone torch there, and that should lock that. No, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I've got it in the wrong place. Who knows? That's just part of the figuring out. I mean, if it doesn't work, I'll probably review the video and come back. Let me see here. I'm actually gonna review the video real quick just to make sure I'm doing this right. So I'll be right back, guys. Okay, guys. So it did turn out that I've not done this quite right. So we're gonna tweak this a little bit, and it's mainly to do with hopper placement, if anything, which was probably what was confusing me a little bit here. Whoops. Oh, this is gonna be so fun moving around here. So I'm gonna knock these down first. Good thing I've got feather falling 4 on. Give me those. And I think there might be some in here as well. So let's pick those up and move this one as well. So we actually want these hoppers to go in the back of these chests. Then we want these hoppers that I had before, like this, going into the block. And that one. And then coming back like so. And then here, we're going to have some stone bricks and a redstone torch there. That's what I somehow confused myself with. So we want a redstone torch there. We want to place a block on that and on that. Now we want our redstone comparators, and these are going to detect the items and provide the lock-in mechanism. I'm going to clean a little bit of this out a moment here. And what we want to do now is behind this block we want to put a repeater, and the same thing over here. I'm actually going to replace these with stone bricks as well, so that if I'm working underneath here later, I know stone bricks don't touch. Usually I go with stone bricks. Sometimes I'm thinking of starting to use sandstone, because I use stone bricks building so much, so I might start using sandstone instead. I guess we'll get rid of some of this gravel while we're here. So there's that. Now we want a block there, and a block there, and 2 blocks here. Now we want some redstone dust. And when so many items pass through the hopper, they will turn on the repeater, which will turn off this torch. Now this, ironically, is 19 items, I believe. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get some items, and we're going to fill this thing up and get the sorter ready. So let's get a stack of string and a stack of spider eyes, because they're the 2 different things. And let's head back up here. So this one is going to be string, so we want to go into this hopper. And the first thing we're going to do is put string there, and then put that there. And so much of it is going to start and empty out. And that is going to empty out into our buffer chest at the bottom there. And we're going to do the same thing right here. And it's this hopper. So we're going to stack a spider eyes and that, and they'll start and flow down into the chests. Like that. You can see we've got 40 string in there. The spider eyes will begin to go in there. So this is it. This is the simple item sorter. And it's very, very simple, but it's very effective, I feel. So as you can see, that one is now done. So what will happen now is if another spider eye passes into here, it will make this signal strength increase to 2, making this repeater activate, turning this torch off, allowing the item to go into the chest. And that's the way this works. So now what we want to do is kind of work on the other end a little bit and actually connect up the minecart part of this system. And I think the hardest part is done now, which is good news. So I'm going to make a little platform for myself right here. And we're going to need some rails now. So this thing I've used quite a few times in other builds. Not necessarily in this world, but it's definitely one of my more common things that I've built here. So we get some tracks so it faces that way, and we're going to have a redstone torch action going on there, and we want a block there which we're going to put a comparator on. I'm back into familiar territory now, so to speak. I kind of know a bit more about what I'm doing, and this is where it actually all goes wrong. Whoops. This area is such a mess and I don't foresee myself going back and forth here too often, so it's not a big deal, but for right now it's a bit inconvenient. So what we want to do here is get that down and a repeater, and basically when the minecart comes in here and there's any items in this, it turns this comparator on, this repeater on, and it turns the torch off. It's kind of the idea. In fact, we could compact that a little bit more. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to compact it by putting the comparator there, the repeater there. I'm going to put a stone brick block there, and then that there. And if I put redstone there and there, it's going to turn the torch off. I can get those back. Cool. So this is our little minecart station. And I have a minecart with chests ready to go. This filter does not have a miscellaneous item sorter on it. It will just go straight through to the spider eye chest, I believe. Or it might get caught in the system. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I haven't built one of these before. But I don't anticipate that there's going to be any items going down there. If it becomes a persistent problem, then I'll just add some extra work. It's not really too hard. It's just adding another one of these. and I'll have it dump it out into a chest, probably near the ender chest, something like that. So this minecart will arrive and then drop off the items. So now what we need to do is actually get this minecart down to where we want it to be in here. Now this is where we're going to start putting our hoppers in, right here. So for the time being, we're going to block off these with wood. Wood I know I can break. And we're going to have to start gutting out the floor a little bit here. Sorry, piston. And we're going to replace this, hopefully, yeah, with a hopper. And we're going to make the hopper point into that block. And into that block. And we want that hopper there, and this hopper here. We're going to make the two lines meet, so we've not got two separate hopper pipes going through. And now what I think I would like to do is actually make that hopper face downwards, and we're going to go down a block or two to make this a little bit easier, because I need to run it through the floor. And in order to do that, probably the best way forward is going to be to do something a little bit like this. So we want to leave enough room for the minecart. So where is the floor? There's the floor. Okay, so this level right here is going to be the best level to build this at. Whoops. A bit like that. And we're going to take that one away, actually. Put that like that. Now we're going to have our little station here at this end. And we're going to put that in place, so when our minecart sits here, it's going to take items. This part is going to be the only part that is manual, and I'm going to have a button push up there, which makes the minecart go. And that's just simply because there's no really easy way of automating this. So what we need to do now is kind of dig under the floor and connect the two ends of the minecart line together. And I only have a couple of powered rails. I don't have much gold, so we're going to have to take advantage of what little gold we do have. Where does this bring me out? Is this... Where is this? There's our redstone for that. So if we continue our journey here, we want to go up and then up again. Probably going to make a turn here. We want to go up through there. That's not going to work, is it? Because of the rails. So we're going to have to go up here instead. And we're into this gravel pile again. So we're going to go up like that. And our other end is right there. I could turn that around fairly easily, and we're probably going to end up doing that. We are actually, if I turn that round, we're going to go back on ourselves. So probably the best idea is actually to make it turn here. That other thing I just dug will serve as a staircase while I build this. So let's continue up here. Is there a block above me or something? There we go. And we need to go like that, basically. Now I'm going to start and replace this with stone bricks, just to make it look pretty, and so that I know that this is something not to touch. Cobblestone I have a really bad tendency to break quite often. Now that... No, that's not going to work, is it? Because when it bends, it won't connect, I don't think. Oh, maybe it will. But that doesn't work. Okay. I've got to be very careful of that with the rails. So, in order to make this work, we're going to want to... What are we going to want to do here? Break that, maybe? No. Oops, I need to conserve my tracks. I don't have too many. It's just going to be a little bit of trial and error with the rails. Again, this is another thing in this game I barely ever play with, is the rails. I'm actually probably going to start and actually place these as I go down. So what we want to do is we want to have another one that probably sits a bit like that, maybe. Ugh. Keep falling off. I don't need repeaters anymore, so let's get stone bricks on the bar. Yeah, there we go. That's what we need. And then that. I'm going to put some stone bricks there. And there. And kind of build it up like this. And this has actually been surprisingly easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be much, much harder than this. So things are going pretty good here. My only worry is that I'm not going to have enough power tracks. And I mean, I have plenty of gold, but it's just back at the lab, and I don't really want to make that run in the middle of this episode. There we go. So we can connect these. There we go. Alright, so now we have a fully connected minecart line. And I'll probably enclose this later. And put some light up here. So now we want to slightly tweak this. Oh, where's that going to end up? Well, this will be a good test now to see where my miscellaneous items actually finish up in this system. I imagine it's probably going to be over here. Yeah. It's just going to leave it up there for the time being. We just want to connect those two, and I can put a block above that, and that'll be fine. There we go. So we've got our little station set up, and now what we need to do is actually place powered rails in the correct position to make this properly work. So what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we want one there. This is gonna have 2 like that, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put that like that. We've got 3 powered tracks left. Ooh, I think we're just gonna manage it, I think. Just about. Oh, with 1 to spare, thank goodness. Now, there's no guarantee that this minecart will actually even work, so we're going to have to test that. This one, I'm going to make a quick wooden button, and we're going to manually power that in a moment, but we do need to power all of these, and that's why I have levers. Pick up these cobblestone blocks. Is my sound down lower than it normally is? No, is it on my computer? It seems quieter. A little bit. There we go. So where do I want to put this one? Maybe right there? Yeah. Oh, that won't power that. But that will. Okay, so we've got all of that powered. Now, let's head back down here again, and hopefully the minecart with the chest makes it all the way. Yeah, looks like it's going to be able to just fine. Oh, it has some trouble going back down. Or did I do that? Did I get in the way of it? Looks as if it can make it back, which is good. I'm just worried that it's not got enough oomph in it. And I remember I have got a spare track. Yeah, looks like I did that. And we'll test it a couple of times just to make sure 100% that it is working. Looks like it is, and it gets ready to refuel right there. And this is really dark here, isn't it? So we should probably fix that. So cool, so we have a little minecart line in here which is going to connect the two things together. So the next job is to get back into the room and pick out where we want our button to go that is going to power that powered track. Probably fill all of this in as well. I guess now it's just going to be a case of doing that and that there, that there. So water will flow on the hoppers but not on any redstone. And just gonna replace that. Okay, so where do we want our button to go? I'm going to pick the... Actually going to make another button, simply because I can have an override one down there if I need to, that I know works. Probably the best location for the button is probably right there. And I'm probably going to get a redstone lamp for that, just so that it matches everything. I think I have a spare one in the box here. Yeah. So let's put that in this slot, and that there, so that powers that. Now then, this is where it gets a little bit on the tricky side, because I have a lot of redstone in here as it is. Now then, do I wanna put that there? I can break that and put that there. And that's a repeater, so that won't get affected. Just got to be very careful it doesn't interfere with anything. No, it doesn't. I just need to get it away from the edge of this filter. And I think the actual minecart is down right below here, isn't it? So let's sort of run it maybe down here. Oh, that's going to bring us into that room, so we can't go that way. And we're really stuck there, I guess. Yeah, that's the stone bricks of that. So we may have to do some interesting moving around here. I guess I could go down and behind this. That's a definite way forward. I may need a repeater or two in order to make this work properly, but I have some. So that's no problem. Oops. And we want to pick that up. Just got to make sure that the redstone lines don't connect and start interfering with each other. And as a precaution, I'm probably going overboard, but I'm going to move them as far away as possible within reason. So now if I keep going down here, I should come out to where the minecart is, somewhere. I have a feeling it's going to be right here. Yes, I see my little wooden button there. So let's do this. I'm almost certainly going to need at least one repeater, but that's not a problem. There we go. And I think, let me test this real quick. If I power that with a redstone line, that should, yeah, that turns that on. Good, so we're going to have it come straight across like that. Now the question is, oops, yeah, I'm going to get through. How far is this going to go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We'll put one right here, and that'll be enough. There we go. So now this should, when I push that button, make the minecart go, and I think I should be able to hear it. I won't be able to see it. I wouldn't be able to make it in time. I can probably see it up there, actually. I did hear it go, so I know it's definitely working. So we can fill that in, and I don't have any signs yet. We should probably make some signs. Here we go. Let's make some signs. Crafting table and sticks. And we're just going to label these just so that I know what they are. It's a bit weird with the whole stair situation, but I can't make it any better than that. So, lighting, minecart collector. There we go. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to empty my inventory out a little bit. Oh yeah, we should probably finish this too, because now that we've got all of this sorted with the buffer and everything, we want to make it look clean. So we can't put anything there to really... Well, we could put a upside down stair. We could do that. So let's make some stairs. And the chest will still open. I could put a back to front stair. I think that may look better. And can I place this. It's going to be really tricky to do. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And fill that in, fill that in. And it looks a little bit odd here, but if I change my settings to smooth lighting maximum, you actually wouldn't notice the difference. So I don't know as it drags on my performance at all, and I really don't mind it. So, you know, it looks good enough. I think I may even be able to put item frames on that as well. If not, I can put them here. I could even do that. Yeah, let's do that. That looks really good. I like that. So, string, spider eyes. You can just about make out the hoppers back there, but it's as clean as it's going to look. I am going to change a little bit of this out with some actual stone bricks. And I'm going to need my axe for a moment here. Pick those up. And we're just going to kind of polish up in here a tad. And I can actually put a stone brick there and it won't affect anything. I don't think that lever's interfering with anything either, so there we go. That looks much better. And we're going to get our chests back down. Toss our spider eyes in there. And we'll get our stairs back. I do prefer it with the 2 stairs over the single stair. Oops, that's going to open the chest. There we go. We'll put that back upside down, and we're going to do a similar thing over here for the string. Although this one's kind of already done, isn't it? But, yeah, it's not too bad. And we'll get our actual stone bricks out, like that. That one's already got a block there. That's not going to block anything if I do that. And we want our chests back down. Toss my string back in there. And I have to remove that again. It's just really tricky to get that into position correctly. But we've done it brilliantly. There we go. So that's our new item sorter. And there's a nice big buffer back there. We can activate the minecart when we're done by pushing that. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to do almost like a mini test, but without the actual spiders. So we're going to get some room in our inventory. Let me just toss a bunch of this stuff out that I don't need. That's plenty of room. And we of course need to break that. So we're going to go down 1. And I want to get that wooden block if I can. I guess not. I'm going to fish those out first because they're going to be a problem otherwise. Yeah, I didn't get any of those. So let me just really quickly head down. I guess that's probably not the best way to be heading down now, is it? I don't really have an access hatch to this. I know, yeah, there's this right here. I want to get those out of there because they're going to be conflicting with my test here. So let's put the floor back. So what I want to do now is I want to get some string out of this box. So let's get maybe 4 stacks of those and 4 stacks of those. We're going to toss 2 stacks down each chute. So that and then that. And we'll do these here as well. And we'll... Oops. Pick those back up again here. Toss those down. And those, and those. So at least we know that the hoppers work and get it into the minecart correctly. Now, they're going to take some time to empty out, and we're going to wait for them to empty out. This will probably get full really quickly. But I imagine that with the amount of string I'm going to get, it should get rid of it all in 5 minutes, I would have thought. I would be quite amazed if it doesn't, unless I've AFK'd for a really, really long time. And I don't like AFKing here for really long periods of time, because it really makes me lag, for one, and the other problem I have with this is it could potentially crash my game, so I don't like to AFK for longer than an hour here. So it should be okay to get rid of all of that really quickly if I can. And with how often I'm using this, I may not use the looting trick either if it becomes a real problem where I'm losing drops. And that's why I used a minecart chest. It may have been a couple of extra hoppers, but it's more worthwhile than using a minecart hopper because that only has the 5 slots. So how are we doing here? We've just got the last stack of spider eyes, and we're gonna make a run in a moment, and we're gonna push that button, and hopefully the minecart stops there, all the items get sorted out, and if that's the case, then we are pretty much done here. I don't have anything else to actually do. And in fact, I'm actually going to take these string and these spider eyes out, put them in their boxes for the time being so that I can do a proper test. So they look empty, I assume by now, because of how quickly hoppers dispatch items, that they're all down there now in the minecart chest. So we're going to push that, and it should begin to start and put in our string, and it does. And if spider eyes show up in here, that means that we have successfully completed the little item sorter there, and we have essentially completed the spider farm here, folks. That's just one little attachment I wanted to make. Regardless of if there's spiders in here or not, when you flick it open again, the items will still get sucked down there, and mobs obviously won't, so it's not a big deal that that happens. Yep, looks like it's working just fine. The next job in here is going to be to finish this off, and I'll probably have to take a run back to the lab for that. And it's just kind of emptying out all this junk, in reality. Putting up item frames, kind of decorative stuff. We may take a quick look at the start of next episode all the changes I've made around here. I'm also going to do some work protecting the wiring off camera, just putting cobble around it. I guess it's going to take out all of the string first, then it will do the spider eyes, which is just fine by me. And I've got to empty out all of this crud and take it back to the lab, as we're pretty much done over here for the time being. So while this goes on, I'm just going to spend a minute or two talking to you about what I wanted to mention, and we kind of got a little sidetrack working on the redstone there. There's been a little bit of talk, I've noticed, about the iron golem farm. I didn't confirm that I was going to make one for a start, but I want to answer some people's questions about the iron golem farm. The iron golem farm, I'm probably going to have to build, simply because the amount of hoppers and stuff I'm going through means that I'm going to need a good supply of iron, and I can't get that by caving all the time. It's just not time efficient for this series. So there is a high chance, it's still not confirmed, but there's a really, really high chance that I'm going to build an iron golem farm. And if I do build it, it's going to be over here by the mesa, which further strengthens the need to have a rail line, which is why I'm talking about connecting the two bases together. So just to answer that quick question, spider eyes, string. Why is there only that many making it? Where did the rest end up? Because I tossed more than that in, surely. What happened there? Maybe they got left at the other end. That's what I'm possibly thinking happened there. Let me take a look. But yeah, that's what's going to happen with the iron golem farm. I didn't get a chance to make it because it did all the string first. So we are going to have to... well, I mean, it doesn't matter making multiple runs. There is quite a bit of storage here. I could actually make that one a chest. That may be a quick improvement to actually do, just to give it a bigger buffer. I'm going to break that. Did it go into the upper hopper or the lower one? Give me that. I'm gonna make a little improvement there and put that in. That'll just give it a bigger buffer to work with. That's all. There wasn't enough time to transfer all the stuff. I didn't leave it long enough. Okay, so did a little bit of bug fixing there to end off this episode. So yeah, talk of the iron golem farm is a bit premature still, but there's a high chance that I'm going to build one, and if I do, it will be over here, because there's no real room for it at the lab. And I don't like big, ugly eyesores in that half of the base. Because this is a resource collection area, and we've gutted out the desert, and we're flattening a mesa, I don't mind building big, unsightly buildings over here. So that's probably what's going to happen with that. So I think we've reached the end of our episode here, guys. I think we've been going for quite a while now. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I've actually had a really lot of fun today, recording and building this redstone item filter and sorter, and everything will kind of find its home here eventually. So off camera, I'm going to do some finalization to this area as a whole, start and transfer the crud out of the way, and probably next episode we'll take a look at the fully finished spider farm here. But then I think we'll go work on something else. We're probably going to do a building episode next time, go back to the tunnel system. That's one thing that I really want to get back on with. Now that I have this supply of string, I actually have enough string right now in this box right here to do the gold farm. We're not going to do the gold farm straight away right after doing this, so we're probably going to do a building episode, and then a fun challenge episode that I talked about back in episode 101, similar to what we did in that episode, and then maybe we'll start work on the gold farm. And it also gives me a chance to kind of organize all the supplies I'm going to need for that, because that project is far bigger than this one. But there we go. Fully finished Cave Spider XP farm, and we're ready to go now to start work on something new. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, guys. One piece of string short. Is it seriously? And it's probably going to put that in there too. That's the ironic thing. It just missed one. I guess not. I wonder where that one ended up. Maybe I picked it up somehow. I did have 41 string, didn't I, when I put that in there, so who knows? We've got a piece of string that didn't turn up. It'll probably find its way home. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, guys, and I hope to see you next time. So until then, see you later, and have a good day.